Today we're going to be talking about 3 things relating to censorship and freedom of speech.
Hi, by the way.
The first thing we're going to be talking about today is Skype. Now you all may be thinking that there's nothing wrong with Skype. You never run into problems with Skype, except some people argue it might not be exactly secure. But, of course, after Microsoft purchased it, which they should have done, then, of course, after Microsoft purchased it, eventually we ran into something. Me and one of my friends on there were talking about DRM and how totally bad it is, because we all know it's bad.
Well, the viewers here may not know what DRM is.
Yeah.
So why don't you explain a little bit to them about what DRM is, and that's why you think it's bad.
Yeah, but first off, DRM is something that will limit the normal user, but it will let pirates get through, because they never have to face this unnecessary nonsense. Basically, it's sort of like whenever someone cracks a program, normally people have to go through all the effort of purchasing it, but then the pirates, they just crack it and they get it. It's like you have that unnecessary stuff. That's what DRM is. DRM, basically, whenever you install the game, it sort of is installed into your system deep down inside of it. And, of course, I don't know what exactly it does, so really it doesn't even have a point to be on your system at all. But then what ends up happening is, well, I think that he has CQ-ROM, that evil thing you all should look up. It's by Sony, and I never thought Sony would make something so evil. And then they did make some other evil DRM earlier. You know.
So the DRM, what does it do? It gets down inside of your computer, and
that's the thing, though. I don't really know what it does.
You were saying in the last video that we made, it gets into your system and can cause what?
Oh yeah, but CQ-ROM, however, it's the only one that I know that it's done something. Basically, whenever Skype would show a notification when he's running the game, the DRM would consider it some sort of problem and would immediately blue screen the system. And of course, the problem is he's on Windows 8. Windows 8 has one problem, and that's that there's stuff integrated into the system itself. Skype is one of those. So therefore, Skype isn't what's crashing the game, though. It's the DRM. Suspiciously enough, Skype is the program that, however, does something that causes the DRM to start its nonsense.
So they're linked in some way.
I don't know, it just sort of seems like it. But in some way they do seem to be kind of linked, because he was talking about DRM and how bad it was. Apparently Skype picked that up and forced him to say DRM is awesome.
Forced him, did you get that? Because he said he did not like something. He did not like DRM. Just because he said he didn't like it, they told him that they would kick him off if he did not say something nice about DRM. So he had to, in turn, make a comment about how he liked DRM when he does not like it. And it sucks. Yeah. And he had to make a comment about it, or they weren't going to let him on Skype.
Plus,
now, what the hell is that all about? I mean, you can't even say that you don't like something in this country anymore. What the hell ever happened to freedom of speech? You can't even say, I don't like this or I don't like that. And they're forcing you to lie, you know, on the internet. So you're telling me you're forcing somebody to lie. So you're making somebody lie. So it's okay to lie. It's better to lie, is what you're saying, than to say the truth that you don't like something. What the hell is that?
But of course, what ends up making things worse, though, is of course, Skype doesn't delete your old messages. So your old messages that say you hate DRM, well, then they force you to write DRM is awesome below it. Well, basically, the problem with that, however, is this sort of reminds me of Mr. Rossetti from Animal Crossing, actually. He forces you to say stuff even though you don't think it's true. And he won't let you through until you say it. Basically, Skype is becoming Mr. Rossetti. It's becoming the stupid mole. Forcing you to say stuff before you're allowed to continue, that's suspicious.
Yeah, so Skype is being an ass. And all you people out there in internet land need to recognize that and get the hell off of there and find another site so that we can show them that we're not gonna put up with them telling us that we are not allowed to even speak our mind. And then if we don't want to speak our mind, then they're gonna tell us that we have an ultimatum. Either we lie and say that we like this, or we're kicked off the site.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, America? Is that the type of company that you want to deal with? I don't think so.
Of course, the next problem sort of ties into that, I've just realized. And of course, the next problem is, well, it's Animal Crossing. There's Animal Crossing New Leaf, and in Animal Crossing New Leaf, you're able to name stuff. You're able to name your designs, or your pro-design clothes, or your character, or your town. Anytime you name those, Nintendo is checking to make sure it doesn't have anything bad in it. Although a lot of it's quite debatable if it's bad at all. Then, well, if it is something bad, it stops you and says you can't use those words.
Well, that would be fine if, in fact, it was a bad word. Like a cuss word, a curse word, sexually provocative. However, it should be in parental controls. Yeah. It should not be built in the game. Built into the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you should be able to go into parental controls and turn it off so you can see all the censored stuff. Then they could just censor it or cover it up or something like they always do. It reminds me of on like of course I know you're not able to control it on those websites, but like on Pandora, they censor everything in the comments. But they don't give you an option to uncensor it. But if they did, it would work just like what we're talking about now. You'd be able to reveal all the...
Yes. So what it is if they want to make sure that there's not these perverted, crazy names on characters, then they should put that parents should have the option in parental controls to block or unblock it, because adults also may like to play this game.
And they don't want to have to be told they can't use the words.
Right. But let's just tell America what the name of the character was that they wouldn't allow you to set.
Well, actually, it wasn't really a character. Inside the game, I made a dress, and it's named Dora's dress. It went through with it. Then I named the hat Dora's hat, and immediately, you can't use those words came up on the bottom screen.
Okay, so, America. He can't use Dora.
Dora's hat.
The name Dora's hat, he can't use. But, right before that, he made the dress. That he copied the dress, Dora's dress, and he put Dora's dress. They allowed that, okay? Then, very next, he makes Dora's hat. Well, it is a recreation of Dora's hat. So, in fact, he puts Dora's hat, and that's not allowed. So, you're not allowed to say Dora. You're not allowed to write Dora. Oh, my gosh. It's just, the world's going to come to an end. How can that be a bad word? Yep. I thought, like, shit and fuck was a bad word. I didn't know that Dora's hat was a bad word. Now, I mean, it's craziness.
But now, all of them are flowing together, because next, on Animal Crossing, at least they let you change your mind and change it, even though really, I wish I had the choice to just go through with it. The next one, however, Harvest Moon, A New Beginning, does not let you do this. You can see it on my channel, Core Productions.
Core Productions. Go there, it's great.
However, though, basically, there is a problem. Now, in that game, you're able to name stuff. But, however, though, if you decide to name it something that they consider offensive, they won't tell you about it. On Animal Crossing, they would tell you about it, but they don't tell you why that it's bad. On this game, they don't tell you anything. They let you go through with the naming process. Then the next time you walk up to that animal, its name gets replaced with 4 question marks with spaces in between them. However, though...
So you're not allowed to name your animal anything you want to name it.
And however, also, to make things worse, you're also not able to see if its name is bad. So if you save your game afterwards thinking it's good, your game is screwed, and you have to go remove that animal and waste more money in game on getting another one. Just because of some random censorship?
Now, let's tell America what the name was.
Icona.
Icona!
I-C-O-N-A.
Oh my gosh, that's such a bad word. I better shield my ears. We wouldn't any children listening to that, because that's terrible.
However, though, what you Now, you might wonder why Icona randomly. Well, it's because of that Icona pop, the ones that made that I Love It song where they drive their car into the bridge over and over again. And I don't understand who would be loving driving their car into a bridge. I mean, how do you do that?
It might have been her boyfriend's car, but...
Oh, yeah, I guess it makes perfect sense, I guess.
Regardless.
Yeah, but regardless...
It's just the name. Just like I said, there could be millions of people that have an Icona as the name. It's not like you were actually talking about that person.
Yep, but however, Icona, though, it does make me wonder, if that is offensive, what country is this offensive in? What language? Because I don't think that anyone would connect to another user across the world on Harvest Moon, of all things. It'd be Animal Crossing more likely, because Animal Crossing is kind of about that. Two people visit each other's towns and do all kinds of stuff together in there. But on Harvest Moon, all you're doing is you're taking care of the other person's animal and giving them a gift. That's all you really can do in that game whenever you're going with another person. So it's very limited.
Yeah, it's like people are taking laws and they're just completely overstretching them. And they keep passing different laws and different laws and different laws. But what people don't understand is laws don't go away. They just keep piling on top of each other and on top of each other and on top of each other until we can't even shit without somebody telling us how to pucker. I mean, it's coming to that, people. It's coming to that. That people are making just little teeny laws. Hell, you can't even eat. You can't have a 64-ounce drink in New York. You can't have any fat. Trans fat. You can't. They're telling you what you can eat, what you can drink. It's crazy that they've taken our Constitution and they have completely screwed it up. It's becoming a communist country. It's like a dictatorship or something. It's nuts. We have to wake up, America. Quit being ignorant. That's how the government wants you. That's how the media wants you. The media is connected to the government. Don't believe what the media is telling you because the government is telling them what to say. And all of this stuff that we're talking about this evening is just little stepping stones. And you may look over this stuff.
Yeah,
people are looking over this stuff and saying, oh, it's just something small. Don't worry about it. Just change the name. Or, oh, it's just that company. Don't worry about it. Just say something nice, even though they're telling you to lie.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's okay to lie. Didn't God teach you that you're supposed to be good? You're not supposed to be a lying snake in the grass? I thought that's what it was, but, you know, hey, that's just me.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Microsoft wants you to lie. It reminds me of Google, where apparently people say Google's older slogans or whatever was "Don't be evil," but now they are doing all kinds of evil stuff. It's almost like that with Microsoft. Microsoft, oh, they make Windows very popular operating system, and not only do they destroy its appearance with Windows 8, although a lot of people are going to question me when I say that, then next they go into Skype, they buy it, and then they destroy it by making it be so censored you can't talk about DRM without risking them forcing you to lie.
It's like you can't talk about anything. It's like you're not allowed to say, I don't like this,
you know, or... And I just feel that DRM could just be the first step, too, because I just realized, what about if a lot of people hated Barack Obama, and what about if they wouldn't let you say you hate Barack Obama and you had to say you love him? That could already be in there and I wouldn't even know it.
Oh, I'm sure that it is.
I just realized that.
I'm sure that there is something that has, I'm sure that it is. I mean, they're watching everything that everybody does, monitoring everything everybody does. Yeah, pretty soon they're going to be knocking down our doors, taking our rights, all of our rights, taking our guns, taking everything.
Yeah,
we need to stand up, people.
But also, another thing, though. Also, really, I kind of wish I knew all the stuff that they had censored. And also, if you look on the internet, no one mentions Skype saying they have to change what they said. But if you go look for you can't use those words with New Leaf, you will see a bunch of people complaining about their town names being rejected. Which is a bit more understandable, but sometimes they type in something that sounds like it could have some hidden meaning in a bad way. But it really looks perfectly normal, even though it might use a word. It kind of reminds me of this video game I saw where if you type in melon, they treat it like the thing on the girl's body, and then the guy suddenly freaks out and kicks you out. I mean, it's basically like that game all over again. They're misinterpreting what people could be doing with those words.
Because they're perverts.
I get, because all men
nothing
think
but
about
a bunch of perverts. It's crazy. You can't even say words nowadays without somebody making it into some kind of perverted slang. It's crazy. People, I swear. I mean, I don't even know what to say about some people sometimes. These sites are really pissing me off. I mean, I don't know much about computers, and I mean, it's just from what you're telling me, because you're like totally awesome with computers. He's a genius. Really. And so, I mean, what he's been telling me lately is infuriating me. It's crazy. You can't draw a hat. You can't say that you don't like something. Where they force you to lie. I mean, that really, really pisses me off. That they're forcing my child to lie, actually, or they're not going to let him on the site.
But I've never gotten to that problem.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying if they would, if you said something, is what I mean. They could potentially try to force you to lie so that you could be on the site with your friends. It's wrong, and that's telling people that it's okay to lie. It's not okay to lie.
But it's almost making me worry, though. What about if Google Plus takes the same route as Hangouts? Because they have Hangouts, and Hangouts is video calling. But also, get this, Skype is also video calling. What about if all the other video calling chatting sites start to put censorship and everything?
I'm sure that they will, because nobody's doing anything to try to stop this. That's why we're having this rant. People have to stand up for what they believe in and quit cowering down to people because we feel that we're afraid, or we feel that something's going to get taken from us, because everything's getting taken from us already. We're losing our rights. We're losing everything. I mean, we have to stand up before it's too late. And then once we show things that we're not going to stand for this, then they'll stop. But if we just sit by and just be like nothing's ever happening, then all of a sudden one day you're going to wake up and you're going to have freaking military people at your door confiscating your freaking children and your rifles and your freaking anything, telling you how you need to eat and how you need to sleep. We can't do it.
Recently with the pointless laws.
It's ridiculous.
And one of the angering things to me is if I look on TV and see all those stupid court shows. Don't even bring up the cops. I really have a hatred towards them. Yeah. And it's also but also there are those then also people will end up talking about video games causing violence. And you might think, oh, Zane, you just hate the cops because in Grand Theft Auto you killed the cops. No. If I would hate the cops, it's the truth. I would very rarely actually like a cop, because I've noticed cops do more evil than they do good. And, I mean, in Grand Theft Auto, they're coming after you for everything. And in that game, your goal is basically to kill the cops, run away from the cops, you know, be a criminal. But out here, they're basically getting you for everything. So you get a hatred for them. Plus they
and it's not that the cop himself as a person necessarily has to be bad. It's just all the laws that he has to enforce makes him the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's these laws. It's crazy. We have to do something. It's like, I want to just like move far away and just like, I don't know. It just seems crazy. I don't know what to say anymore about this rant.
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much said a lot, haven't we? Yeah. We should probably stop now while we're ahead.